Rachel, thanks for inviting me to you, Rachel and Darren, to that webinar series. I'm very grateful to participate and to also bring our solution to your community to see how we take that SP 1383 implementation serious. And for us, it's a pleasure to really provide our view on innovative solution that shall comply with SP 1383. I think Louis said it right, there is just not one solution that fits all. I think there's a space for various solutions to the market. And I would like to highlight our solution, particularly from a processing solution perspective. So a solution that will ultimately produce beneficial products to satisfy the procurement goals of the jurisdictions as it is mandated by SP 1383. So our team at True North Renewable Energy has quite a significant experience with more than 100 years for 7 people in total in the energy, AD and organics infrastructure development and construction and operation business. Rachel said I was responsible for Compagas. At that time, I was operating with Compagas 16 AD facilities in Switzerland. We built all over the world facilities. And we have at that time also built a facility in San Luis Obispo. We are also team up with selected partners in the industry that are highly specialized with local expertise, with market knowledge of California, where we can really have a viable project development established at the end of the day. Partners like Diversion Strategies, great to have you also on the team. Our goal is to provide a solution that supports the California jurisdictions in implementing and meeting the waste diversion goals and mandates. So what we want is to play a significant role, and we are also willing to build the necessary infrastructure throughout California. However, this also needs at the end of the day commitments of waste supply. Nobody's going to invest without any commitment. So what do we think is necessary to supporting the California in this implementation of SP 1383? So first of all, we think you need to have a high organic diversion facility. So we are convinced that in the long term, the high organic diversion facility will be able to cope with the requirements that are requested to divert as much as possible from the landfill, so more than 75%. Second, we believe, and also from our experience, it's necessary that you have a system that can really handle different waste streams in one facility. With the changing feedstock over the time, you would have to have a solution that is most versatile for future developments in the organic waste composition. Third point, we want to produce compost, but we also want to produce renewable natural gas in one facility. So we want to make use of the energy content of the organic feedstock that is anyway here, while we also produce compost in that closed loop solution. And last but not least, I think it's necessary to introduce a source segregated organics collection or commingled collection to keep it simple for the individual person, and also to collect all organics into one bin, either in that 2-bin system or in a 3-bin system. Indeed, there's a great variety of organic feedstock that can be expected, dependent on many influencing factors: where you live, how dense it is, what the population is, eating habits, etc. Here you see the list of different feedstocks that we ought to accept in such a facility. And it's important that you need to have a solution that is simple for, on one side, the residents to separate, then to collect in a way, and to process the organics. while at the same time achieving these high organic waste diversion goals. It's like comparing with a human being ourselves. One might have changed the eating habit over the lifetime. At least I did. I'm eating quite healthier than I used to do it earlier. And with a solid waste facility diversion solution that you want to implement that will run 20 to 30 years, you need also to be able to cope with this change over the time. So looking at the CallRecycle claims, there are strong claims of CallRecycle for diversion and required capacity and a very ambitious timeline to implement. So time is of the essence. In less than 1 year, SB 1383 must be implemented, and only 2 years later, enforcement starts to kick in. So we have less than 36 months time to implement a viable solution that can handle this incredible volume of organic waste that is predicted by CallRecycle. 20 million tons, they predict it's at least 50 to 100 new or expanded organic waste recycling facility. That's quite significant. And we all know that building the right infrastructure takes time on one hand, and especially in California with all the permitting requirements and some of the hurdles, it needs even more time. So all that said before, a holistic solution in our view makes most sense and can cope with the requirements that are mandated by CallRecycle. What does holistic mean? It means most versatile in coping with the feedstock that is expected today, tomorrow, but also in 20 years or even 30 years. So we build our infrastructure for the next 30 years. But now the good news, such an approach is not new and is proven in other further advanced markets in that respective, on this planet. So we have done this in Europe, in certain countries for more than 20 years. We also started with just green waste. We added food waste. We implemented commingled collection because it's the simplest. And there were really the system adapting. And important is to really adapt the way we do it and to grow with that diversion changing habits. And we think that our solution can cope with that. Also from our own experience, from my own experience, reliability, clean, odor-free, and future-proof are key factors of a successful solution. So if you have one-time odor with your solution, you're always the guilty guy, even though it might be not the case of that facility. Now, let's have a dive into what we consider a high diversion solution and what it is equipped with. I think very important is that the process steps need to be enclosed, especially considering the expected food waste and coming food and green waste that will be processed in the future. And the high solids anaerobic digester delivers just the best gas yield. The highest gas yield is running on the thermophilic temperature, and with that guarantees a pathogen-free digest state. And also key is removing as much as possible of non-organics at the front end of the process. The system does digest or process that non-organics, but it doesn't really help. And to take out the remaining non-organics and the final step of the process so that the final product really meets the quality requirements. So how can we satisfy the procurement requirements that are defined by SB 1383? We believe that we, first of all, have beneficial products such as compost, as well as renewable natural gas ready to be made available for the jurisdictions. And depending on the location, we are also considering implementing a fueling station that can fuel RNG to the trucks that deliver to the waste facility. And with our solution, we have a negative CI value, which offers value and valuable products to the jurisdictions. So finally, here are the projected facts that we think that we can achieve with such a holistic organic waste diversion and processing solution. We build in phases, so it's a modular approach with phases that can build up to a facility of 600,000 ton facility processing capacity, which is needed to process such much high volume. We reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Looking at our CI value, we have really a good negative emission balance. We provide clean energy, RNG, or transportation fuel, or feed into gas pipeline. And we deliver a consistent product, which is a compost for improving or restoring the soil and improve the growth of plants in the agriculture. Yeah, thanks for listening to our approach of TNRE in providing the needed infrastructure for California. And we are convinced that with that solution, we have a long-term sustainable solution that can cope with the market requirements of California.